We're back on AD in the morning, and I am honored and a little red-cheeked here. We've got what I consider to be the greatest fiddle player of all time, Charlie Daniels, on the phone with us. Should I call you Charlie or Mr. Daniels? I'll be honest.
No, call me Charlie. Everybody calls me, even little kids call me Charlie.
Okay, well, I feel like breakdancing right now. I kind of got that butterfly feeling in my stomach. You know how that goes. So,
we're gonna have some fun.
Oh, yes, sir. It's going to be a lot of fun at Rhythm City Casino coming up here Friday, September 27th. You're going to be playing there, and I can't wait to get a chance to meet you in person. And I think they're even going to let me introduce you. So I'm going to be on my best behavior to make sure they don't take that away. But
Fantastic.
Yes, sir. Now, you're on tour for a couple months this year?
We're on tour actually more than that. We take January and February off. There's not much going on, and the roads are bad and so on. So we usually go back to work in March and get a little bit busier as the year goes on. And I've just got home from a little over a month out of town. So that's kind of how it gets this time of the year. And then it starts slacking off a little bit, in December. And we take January and February off and then go back at it again next year.
Now, home is Tennessee. You're originally from North Carolina, but you live down in Tennessee. And you're a big Volunteers fan, isn't that correct?
Oh, absolutely. My son went to school over there.
Okay.
UT.
Well, they start the season on this Saturday, Georgia State.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen this year. We had a tough go here the last little while. But the SEC is the toughest football conference in the country, and
NFL Junior.
Trying to recruit in the SEC is a tough job. So we'll see what kind of job of recruiting they've done this year.
Well, yeah, there you go. Good luck with that. The SEC is as tough as they come. So, well, I want to start off by asking you, obviously, maybe this is an obvious question, but when and how did you come about getting your first fiddle? How old were you, and how did that all come about?
Actually, the first fiddle that I ever had, somebody gave me when I was basically an infant. I must have been 4 or 5 years old. I don't know why they gave it to me. It was to be many, many years before I would be able to play a bit on it. But this old fiddle had no strings on it or anything. It just laid around our house for years and years, and I don't know why in the world somebody would have given me a fiddle when I was that young. I don't know. Maybe it was a sign of things to come. But to be honest with you about it, I don't know. Suffice it to say, I was in single digits the first fiddle I ever got.
That's so you started young, and then by 18, you started your own band. You graduated from high school in 1955. Started a band. You were playing the fiddle, the mandolin, the guitar, all kinds of stuff. And tell me a little bit about that. Your early years doing that. Now later on, you caught on and did some stuff with Bob Dylan, the Marshall Tucker Band, on and on before you got into your own stuff. But 1955, what's Charlie Daniels doing?
Well, I was, in 55, of course, I was busy trying to finish high school, but I was playing, I had a little kind of a bluegrass band. We played like a 4-piece, 4 or 5-piece, sometimes one, sometimes the other, bluegrass band, and we played Flat and Scruggs stuff and Bill Monroe stuff and that sort of thing. And about the time that Elvis came along, I thought it was time for me to buy an electric guitar. So I went and bought my first electric guitar and started learning some of this new music that was coming around. In 1958, I was with my family in Wilmington, North Carolina, and got a chance to go into full-time music, which was a desire in my heart to be a professional musician. And I left. I cut the apron strings in 1958. In June of 1958, 61 years ago. Wow. Went out in the world looking for my fortune in the music business, and I've been out here ever since.
Man, well, I'd say you did pretty good. You got, you've been a blessed man, needless to say.
Indeed. Blessed is the right word for sure.
All right. So I was doing some research on this stuff, and I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things you do to help raise money for soldiers and stuff like that, because we do some of the same stuff. But the music now, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, 40th anniversary of that this year, correct?
Right, exactly.
And you said you guys got done doing your album Million Mile Reflection and realized, we didn't do a fiddle song. So that's
exactly right.
So one of the greatest songs of all time, and you're just like, hey, we got to throw a fiddle song together. Let's do this. I mean, I was expecting a more dramatic story.
Well, I would have expected, but when people ask me the story about how that song was written, I tell them, it's a very boring story. I have other songs that I've written that have more of an interesting story to them, but this one, it was a matter of necessity. It was a matter of needing a fiddle song. So we took a break, went out and wrote it, and I had just one line in my mind. Devil Went Down to Georgia. That one line was just in my mind, and we just started there. And you play this, you play that, and then Taz came up with that da 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 da, that line in behind the devil's part.
Mm-hmm.
And we were off and running, and I went over and finished the lyrics to it and went in and recorded it, and as they say, the rest is history.
Did you feel like this might be one of those songs, like this could be a special song?
Yeah, I thought it could be a special song. Of course, what special meant was, I didn't know. I just thought it would be a good tune for us, get some airplay and sell some records. I had no idea we'd be sitting here talking about it years after the fact. If I said I knew that, I'd be lying to you. I really had no idea about that. This song has amazed me a lot. I've recorded a lot of songs in my life, and some of them have done pretty well. Never had a song that stayed around as strongly as this one has. Long Hair Country Boy was a song that we do every night still.
Yeah.
That was still a crowd favorite, and we do it every night and all. But Devil Went Down to Georgia is the one that we have to do every night.
Well, I was actually going to ask you that. Is there ever a time that you haven't played it at a show?
Very, very few. I don't know there would be special circumstances why we wouldn't have. But my pastor, when I do help out sometime with praise and worship service, believe it or not, he has me do Devil Went Down to Georgia in church.
Really?
And I always tell the people, look, this is not my idea. This is Pastor Allen's idea. He wants me to do this, and I'm not. Of course, I never considered it really to be a church song, but you beat the devil. So I mean,
there's a lesson there.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. That could be a biblical story.
It's been an amazing song for us, no doubt about it. And if you were to go to somewhere, say in Eastern Europe or somewhere they don't even speak English, and you were to talk to somebody over and say, "Do you know Charlie Daniels?" They'd say, "No, I never heard of him." You ever heard of a song called "Devil Went Down to Georgia"? Oh yeah, we heard that on Voice of America, or on BBC, or on some international broadcast or something. And it's just it's that standard of amazing, basically, is what this song's been to me. I have been truly amazed by it. How it keeps going year after year after year is amazing.
It absolutely. It's one of the greatest songs of all time, and it's original, it's different, and it's definitely a fiddle song. You got your fiddle song on that album, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. I've got a pretty good one on it.
I would say. We play a lot of your music here on our station. We're actually a country and rock format, which is kind of unique. And a lot of actually, The Devil Went Down to Georgia after Urban Cowboy came out. It had charted on the country charts, and then it charted on the pop charts. It charted on the rock charts. I mean, it was kind of a transcendent song that broke barriers, and that's why you can celebrate the 40th anniversary of a song. That's why you play it at every show, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, it's the one that everybody recognizes. The first few notes you play, they know what it is.
Oh yeah, I played "On Easy Rider" today, which is always one of my favorite songs. I love that you chase them around the parking lot just once before you go to L.A. via Omaha. That's
yeah.
I actually had a car when I was a younger man with an 8-track player, so I had to I asked my stepdad and all his friends and older people I knew for 8-tracks, and one of them was one of your albums. And so I got a chance to listen to some songs that weren't normally on the radio and really kind of get into, because on an 8-track, you got to listen to the whole thing, then you flip it over and you can listen to the second side, and there's no rewind or any of that fancy stuff.
Well, I still autograph an 8-track once in a while. Somebody will bring one autograph line.
Yeah?
And I'll autograph it. Now, I don't think anybody's getting anything to play one on anymore, but there are still a few of them around.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't heard one in a while either, and that's fine with me. The sound quality's not quite there, but hey, music's music. Hey, so outside of music now, you're a pretty busy and a pretty good guy, and I learned that doing research for this interview. Now, I read a story that you just wrote, or you're a contributor for CNSnews.com, and it was Imagine the Streets Without Police. And I got to tell you, we're always lobbying on my show for higher wages for our police, our firefighters, our first responders, because I feel like they're underpaid for what they do. And if anybody gets a chance, check out that story by Charlie Daniels. I thought that was great. I had no idea you did stuff like that.
Well, I have the greatest respect for law, for our law officers and the men and women who literally make it so we can sleep in our beds at night without having to worry about somebody coming in and cutting our throats or something. And I am appalled at the disrespect of some of the politicians, some of the things they say, and like the mayor of New York who will not back it. They're pouring water on officers in New York. That is so ridiculous.
I
And
agree.
the first thing that city council and mayor should have done is stand up and say, okay, you want to do that, you're going to jail, and you're going to pay a big fine, and you ain't getting out until you pay the big fine. Now go do it again. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's the first thing you should have done, and they should have arrested everybody that does it. They should take them to jail. They should make them pay the fine. They should keep them in until they pay it, and teach them some respect for the people who make it possible for them to walk on the streets.
Yes, sir.
Our streets would be a jungle without our police. And there's nobody that we should be more beholden to than we are our law officers and our veterans and our people in the service. They are the ones who put their lives on the line for us day in and day out and year out and make it possible for us to live in a civilized, free nation.
Charlie, I could not agree more with you. I absolutely agree 100%. Who's that mayor going to call if somebody breaks into his house? You know, I always bring that up. You know, oh, there's shots fired or there's a domestic disturbance. Police go into the worst situations. That's their job. You know, these are some of the bravest people you're going to find.
He can have somebody come in and pour water on him, maybe, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Well, maybe you and I got to get in cahoots. We might get ourselves into some trouble.
I don't think so.
Now, you also have something called the Journey Home Project, which brings awareness and support to those who part of soldiers' journeys home. And I wanted to tell you, we're doing something for the third straight year, something we call the We Care Package Drive. Now, that's where we ask folks from our listening area to donate either cash or items that we can send to troops that are overseas or stateside, but away from home at Christmas time. And we sent 370 United States Postal Service priority mailboxes last year with stuff like batteries and beef jerky and just those little things that aren't a big deal. But if you're somewhere in the sand in Afghanistan and you get a package with a bunch of that stuff, we hope to just, bring a little light to their day. And we're actually taking it to the next step this year. In the past, we just done it for a few weeks. This year, we're actually doing it for 3 months so that we can affect that many more troops.
Well, God bless you. Anything you can do. When the first time we went to Iraq, I got to noticing that a lot of the troops played musical instruments, but they didn't have any instruments to play, or they couldn't get strings or picks or anything. And so when I got back, I started a thing called Operation Heartstrings, and went and got with some of the instrument companies and got them to donate instruments and strings and computers and just all kinds of things to take over to our troops over there. And it's kind of the same thing you're talking about, doing something for our troops, and that's the reason I'm saying I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know that you bring a lot of joy when you do stuff like that. So God bless you for doing it. Keep it up.
Well, we sure appreciate that. Yeah, and you keep up all the good things you're doing. Like I said, you got the Journey Home Project, and obviously you do a lot of things that don't really get a lot of press, but that's not what you're doing it for, and that's even cooler.
Like press.
Yeah,
I do it because I love our troops, and I feel beholden to them. No, that press has nothing to do with it. It's love. Love has to do with it.
Well, and I think that resonates from you. Talking to you, I can tell this is, these are, and doing the research on you too, seeing all the places you've been and the things that you've done for different people. It's pretty amazing. You've taken a famous musical career and really made it special for a lot of people.
Well, the Bible says, "From him who much is given, much is required."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have an awful lot required from me because I have sure been given a lot. If I get a chance to pay it back, or I can't ever pay it back. I can never pay back what God's given me, but I can. I think we should at least try. So that's me trying.
Yes, sir. Well, I'd say you're doing a pretty good job. Now, Charlie Daniels, you've got a memoir, Never Look at the Empty Seats, and then you've also got Let's All Make the Day Count, the Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels, which you seem like a kind of guy to be fun to sit down and talk with for a few minutes every day.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's kind of what that book is. Let's all make the day count book is. It's talking, just sitting down talking every day a little bit.
Well, that's it's such an honor to be talking to you today. I really appreciate all your time. Once again, of course, Charlie Daniels is going to be at the Rhythm City Casino Friday, September 27th. I would suggest you get your tickets early because you know it'll sell out. And you've been having some fun on this tour. I mean, you're 82 and you're still doing this thing. How is it? How's it going for you?
No, I have more fun than anybody. I love it. I love touring. I love touring. I love getting on stage in front of people and playing songs I have written and having them enjoy it. There's nothing like it. It don't get much better than that.
You ever talk to Bob Dylan anymore? You toured with him back in the 60s.
I haven't seen Bob in a while. Last time I saw him was he came through Nashville on a tour, and I went to see him. But that's the last time I've seen him. It's been quite a while.
Wow, I bet that was an interesting tour back in the day, in the 60s. Anyway, I know you got to go. Thank you again so much for your time. If you could, Charlie, please just hold on 1 minute, and I want to talk to you about one other thing.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Charlie Daniels. September 27th, Rhythm City Casino. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime show.